Hello everybody, this is Rhys Barber from Audiology Associates. Thank you very much for watching that earwax removal video today. Oh my goodness, this was a tough old one. Not particularly this first ear canal. This first ear canal is pretty straightforward, but the second ear canal, very different story. So let's start off. So we got this standard size ulnar tube in here, very kind of thick but not too sticky, thank goodness. Earwax removal here for this one. You can see it's really coming out very well. The wax itself looks a little bit sort of granular, this kind of sugar and butter mixture that people refer to when they look at these videos. But we've also got a lot of dry skin in here. Now that becomes important for the next ear canal. Now what you'll see here is as we go back in, let's take a look back in here a minute, you'll see we've got this layer of dry skin around the outside part of the ear canal. So almost as if the top layer of skin here has hardened up, so it's got more like almost like a keratin, which is that hard material that your nails are made of. So it becomes that kind of consistency. Now in this particular ear canal, it hadn't really caused too much of an issue because it had just closed up the entrance to the canal. But when you see the next one, you'll see it's a very different story on the other side. So I'm just getting rid of some of this extra skin. You can see the ripples when we go back in now. Look at the canal wall skin to the bottom left hand corner. You'll see those kind of ripples, that little sort of layers of skin that come away there and all concertinaed up. There we are. So when you take a look at this one, look how much more of that material there is. It's almost formed a complete sleeve in here. Now, what this is basically it's very hard skin and wax. Now, patient had been noticing a few issues when they lay on their ear. It was causing when they lay on their side. It was causing a few issues here. Bath, showers, water getting in there was really problematic for this patient. It wouldn't clear for a very long period of time. But what's happened here effectively is the whole top layer of skin in the ear canal has become really toughened up, and you can see it's very kind of crumbly here at the entrance, but then when we start to lift, it's a real kind of thick layer underneath. Now the reason this was a bit more of a problematic one to do, if you imagine you've got a tube and inside that tube you've put quite a hard second layer just inside, but you've actually stuck it to the walls of the tube, and your job is to try and get that out. Now you can't scrape it out because that would be, for instance, that would damage the tube. In this case, basically the same analogy, but in a patient's ear canal, that's going to really be very uncomfortable because you'd have to put so much pressure down onto it that to draw that out would be really painful for the patient, be really uncomfortable. Now, sometimes you are very lucky, and sometimes as you lift from the sides, which is what we're doing here, then the actual skin and wax are so hardened up they formed a hard sleeve. Now if that's the case, now sometimes you can use a Jobson horn, as you can see it's going in here, and push on the edge, which is what I'm just checking here to see whether we can do, and it'll bring the entire sleeve out in one go. Unfortunately, in this case, we weren't so lucky, and it's not going to do that. So what I'm doing here is just seeing whether I can just break this front section away, because when you do lift from the sides of the canal wall, what you're effectively doing is bringing the wax into the center of the canal. Well, that's where your visual is most of the time. So when you're lifting like this, what you end up, unless it breaks away, you end up almost blocking your own view. So you have to remove that section you've just lifted, which is what we're doing now. We're just lifting everything up, and you can see I'm trying to probe all the way around the outside edge, so it's almost unpeeling it from all the way around the edge. But now you can see I'm trying to hold on to it and give it a good old wiggle to sort of try and detach it and bring this out. But it is tough as old boots. It does not want to come away, this. So I know I've detached it from the canal wall. I don't have to press so hard with a Jobson horn. I'm just seeing whether I can just flick that section we've just pulled away out of the ear canal, but you can see it's just not really budging. Now to me, the top portion of that eardrum also looks like a bit of dead skin up there as well. So I think this piece of dead skin is almost coming over the top of the attic region of the eardrum. So we'll probably have to do a bit of a peel on that a bit later on. But in order to be able to do that, we're going to have to create a little bit of room in this canal. Now you can see at the top section, as I pull down, look how it peels from that canal wall there. So we're going to pop the Jobson horn, the crocodile forceps in, but it's not really tough. So I think we're going to get a lot of shearing, which is what's kind of happening here, where the forceps can hold on to it well enough. But instead of pulling the entire thing out, what it'll do is just break a small segment away. But In this case, it doesn't matter too much as long as it's coming out, because we want to still maintain that view. So we do need to keep that view going in the center. Lifting again, you can see the white material underneath there to the right hand side of the suction tube. That's the old dead skin, that's the softer bit that's sitting underneath before it hardens up into this more kind of like keratin type skin on top here, or keratinous I should say, skin on top. So we're just loosening again. Let's see if I can just grab a corner of that there with the forceps. You'll always see me, if I'm using the forceps on this type of skin, I always make that little wiggling motion coming down. What that's doing is it's just sort of freeing everything up, so we're encouraging it to come out of the ear. So we're about halfway, just about, or just over halfway if we lift that bit up there, down the ear canal now. Just lifting from the bottom here. Let's see if we can get a grip on this bottom section. You can see our white skin material here. It's not really giving us much. Let's go back in with the forceps. Let's hold on to this section, peel and draw back. You did see a bit of it move then, so let's peel and draw this back again. Let's hold on to it. Let's peel and pull back. We're starting to see it peel away from deeper in the canal as well. A little bit of that wiggling motion. Oh, we did manage to get some of it out with it. I think there's still quite a bit in there, but how far back has that got us? We're not that much further forward, I've got to be honest here. So let's go and grab this next section. Let's lift that bit up. Let's peel this down the left hand side of the canal wall here. You can see just tucked around that little bend how much of this material is stuck there as well. Now, patient does report he knows what he is this doing, because he starts to get a lot of itching in the ear canal. The reason you're getting the itching, it's your body's way of trying to get you to scratch away that sort of dead hard surface you can see there. So you can get that movement of that piece of skin, hardened up skin on top of the fresher skin underneath is going to feel really itchy. So he knows when it's time to get this done, because he gets that sensation. And we're really trying our best to peel this away. Patient was sat in the chair for a little while to get this done. So just peeling from the top. We're getting to that little ridge just before the eardrum here. So we're just getting to that much deeper section there. Let's peel across from this left hand side. You can see I'm really trying to work this skin and wax away from the canal wall here. It's very dry, tough old stuff. So we just popped a little bit of olive oil in. I just want to see if that makes a difference. Let's see if it actually allows us to get a better grip. It's also going to help to soften some of this wax. Now you'll see just to the top left, there we are, just above the suction tube now, that whole section at the top started to move. So I'm going to grip that section and peel down as well. Now that was the bit that was sitting just above the eardrum, so in the attic portion there. Now lifting from the bottom, you can see how that skin is still holding on really tightly there to the canal wall. Let's see if we can aim a little bit lower, just trying to aim into that little V just at the base of that valley there, and let's see if we can lift from here. So I'm using the suction, the pressure of the suction here more than anything else at this point. You haven't got a lot of room to work with. Now normally when we were peeling deeper, on the outer part of the ear canal, we're peeling across to the opposite side, but you can see here it is really, there's not a tremendous amount of room to maneuver in here, which is what makes this a little bit more difficult. But we're just going to see if we can just about accommodate the crocodile forceps in that gap. Let's grip and pull, and then we're going to have to reposition and grip again. There we go. The suction just wasn't able to hold on to it. We've managed to get a good grip there with the crocodile forceps and peel that away. Look at that coming out there. So it was a fair size piece. Now we've managed to clear that, but look at this section at the top here. Watch now as we pull this down. So this was actually a piece of dead skin that was sitting just on the top. So where the pars flaccida is on the top of the eardrum, so that's the more flexible part of the eardrum at the top here. As I'm pulling this down, you can see it's starting to come away, but it's not quite got enough grip or enough room with the suction tube. So let's see if we can hold with the forceps, clamp and draw down are. Now the difference there, when you talk about using the suction tube, we needed to pull back, straight back towards the endoscope. So there's the ear canal and eardrum there, looking much better than when we started. There's some scar tissue on there. But when we talk about pulling this out, to get that last section here, we would have had to pull the suction tube straight back. When you do that, if it's holding on, you're just going to lose suction straight away. So it's not great for pulling things directly backwards. Suction tubes work really, really well if you can get a good grip by kind of maneuvering things and then working them down the canal. So because we had to pull that one back straight, we're better off using the crocodile forceps there, so we can clamp between the teeth, between the jaws of the forceps and draw straight back, and that's going to allow us to get that out really effectively. But you can see a lot of scarring, that white cloudy patches all over the eardrum, a lot of scar tissue. So this is where it started like, and this is what it ends like here, so you can see much better. This is what we removed, so you can see much lighter in color. 3.5 centimeters worth of skin and wax debris there. So what's that, 1.5 inches thereabouts. Well guys, sorry, my voice has gone really dry. I hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did voicing it over. As always guys, take care of yourselves, take care of your ears, and take care of one another, and I'll see you again for the next video. Bye everyone.